Yesterday, me and Kellen were having a back and forth on Slack talking about the reactions to Joker 2, which just dropped yesterday. A lot of people were posting their first social media reactions for the film. First of all, I want to get everyone here's opinion on whether they actually have an interest in seeing this film, given that it's been so long since the original film came out.
No.
No?
No.
That's not the reason why I have no interest to see it.
It's a musical. I don't want to see it.
It's a musical. That's 100%. I'm a single issue movie watcher.
Like you,
and the fact that it's a musical ruined it.
Like they left it off at such a point in the first movie where you could, like, you teed yourself up perfectly, and you ruined it.
And go ahead and describe that. What do you mean?
Like, so at the end of the first Joker, like, it's, you know, the whole riot thing. He's in the back of the car smiling or whatever. He does the whole dance and song and dance thing that he did. But, like, that was, like, from the Joker's origin story, basically. Now you have, I don't know what it's going to be, but singing and dancing
Harley
for 2
Quinn.
hours.
Yeah.
I don't care for that when you've already told the story in such a way in the first, like, it'd be like if, like, well, you know, the direction Star Wars went in is as infuriating,
Yeah.
but
I think, you know, I don't think the first movie was particularly popular with women. And so this was their attempt to bring in the woman, like the female
don't
audience.
make a comic book movie. Like, that's the thing. Like,
Sure.
you can't say it's like when I walked into the comic book store and saw I knew I was out of it when it was a pride parade in Asgard, and I'm like, I can't. Like, no.
I mean, women have Anyone But You, and It Ends With Us. Movies like that do great with women, right? I actually did I put a tweet out yesterday that was like, I was making fun of the fact that they blamed Donald Trump for ruining Ghostbusters 2016.
Well, 'cause he did.
And I listed about 12 shows, all of which star women, all of which got at least 2 seasons, right? And the thing is I didn't even account for shows that actually appeal to women. All the shows I picked were ones that were designed more for men, meaning science fiction, procedural crime shows, things like that just happen to have women in it. If you talk about shows like a Gossip Girls or a frickin' something like that, those go 7-8 seasons easy, right? Vampire Diaries or whatever it is
but
that
did they
watch.
go 7-8 seasons easy because it was the early 2000s? Like, would they go
Yeah.
7
Would they
8 seasons
today?
today?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Like they, like I mentioned, they did a reboot of like Pretty Little Liars, and it only went 2 seasons.
Yeah,
and the
like people
original
just
one
don't
went
have the
7-8
attention
seasons.
spans for like a decade-long story.
I got a retort. I mean, like, Emily in Paris is very popular.
How long is she going to be in Paris anyways?
Well, she's in Italy now, but it's still called Emily in Paris.
They should change the
Sorry,
name.
spoiler alert.
Yeah. All right, so I want to go through some of these reactions to get a gauge for what they're saying about it. Now, these are social media reactions, so there's not going to be spoilers or anything like that. I don't know if our audience is planning to go see the movie. We will be going to see it on Thursday. But here are some of the ones that I was able to glean out. So this is from someone named Ty. Says, I liked it way more than the first Joker. It has way more replay value. I'll definitely see it a bunch of times and saw the first one only twice. Definitely will see this 5 to 10 times, ending with shocking but a great time. 5
This
out of 5.
sounds
That's
like
sarcastic,
satire,
right?
It's sarcasm. It's sarcasm.
It's satire, right? This sounds like satire.
Well, he said 5 out of 5. So he had screenshots from there. We're going to go through all of them though. Second one. This one says, this is from Jones Vibes, says, Joker Folie Deux is undeniably bold, but as a sequel is such an amazing film, you can't help but ask, why? That is a fair question. Everyone's asking, why did this movie need to be made?
Sure.
Some things work, while other things, depending on how you look at them. The musical aspect, though, didn't land for me, and Gaga took away from the film more than she added. That said, Joaquin Phoenix kills it again, and that has an intriguing ending with a pleasant surprise. That's actually been contested, because other people were saying the third act was the worst of the film.
So,
Wow.
So this reminds me, and I haven't seen it, so I always like to just like preface strong opinions about movies that I haven't seen because it doesn't do it justice. But nonetheless, when you had the Umbrella Academy show and Ellen Page transitioned to become Elliot Page, right? They had to write that into the show because their star actor completely changed their identity. Now, I almost feel like we're seeing a little bit of this with Lady Gaga being thrown into the mix here, where all of a sudden it's a musical, right? Oh, surprise, surprise. You get a famous singer as a co-star, if not the bigger star than Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
And now it's a musical. Like, it almost feels like she is responsible for the changes.
Shoehorned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that could end up being what it is. So here's some more. Certainly lives up to the meaning of its title. I really enjoyed the performances by Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga, and Todd Phillips' Elseworlds take on the character. The musical aspect worked well with the interesting follow-up to the 2019 smash hit. So again, a lot of these feel very like, some of them actually felt like AI written. Like the guy's like, I don't want to, I don't want to write anything, so just like do it for me.
You know the Haktua girl meme where the Haktua girl.
That's my favorite.
God, somebody needs to have her. She reviews Joker too,
Yes.
and it's
Hawk Tua went viral
I
by
give it
saying
5
that,
out of 5 Hawk Tuas.
is it a hawk or a Tua?
She
All right.
loves the blocking. Yeah, she has a great analysis of the blocking on screen during the musical parts of Joker 2.
I would love to know what Hawk Tua girls' takes are on the lighting and the cinematography of
Just
Joker
really
2.
hard questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is from somebody else. Says Joker Folie Deux is a love story in its purest form. It resonates two harsh truths in its finest artistic way possible. They are: love makes you vulnerable. People tend to love a version of you, but not the complete you. Could be, maybe true.
I really like the character study in the first one. This one doesn't feel like it's.
It was okay, but so here's why I said that about like this kind of being written for more women this time around. It's because the first one, women did not resonate with the guy down on his luck. That is the last thing.
No, not in
they
society
want to see.
these days.
No, and it's silly and it's a lie to think that they care about that. When they see a poor man with what was it, a mental disability? Like why did he couldn't whatever he had
The point is they
but
ask
they don't
him-
want to see that.
No.
They don't want to see that. And so it's like, okay, well, you had a successful first movie, but how do you make it more successful? You open it up to the women. And again, these companies keep trying that, whether it's Cheerios and their commercials or it's big Hollywood productions. They
Yep.
keep making this mistake.
Todd Phillips delivers a visually captivating musical. Joaquin Phoenix surpasses his iconic Joker performance, but Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn falls flat with little to do beyond singing. The film is a powerful statement on how the system failed Arthur Fleck.
Vera Dart's
But the-
saying women ruin everything. That's not the point here. It's that the writers think, like it's the writers' fault, who are probably, whatever.
But you
We
have
are taking Vera's word on this, guys, because she will be on the show on Friday. So it is.
she's mad. She's mad because she has to watch this.
Yeah. Sorry, but
I would.
well, you know what? We make do with what we gotta do. All right. Dave Lane says, as a big fan of the first film, I was disappointed by Joker Folie Deux. There are elements to enjoy, filmmaking, performances, and a few sequences, but the film doesn't have much, if anything, new to add. The final act is irritating and makes me miss the original story's ending. That makes sense to me. Again, there's conflicting narratives there, but that's kind of the point of art, right? Is somebody might love that third act. Somebody else who has a different take, perhaps on the first one, might see the final act of the second film in a completely different light.
I wonder if it's a factor of how dark the movie, like the first one, actually was.
Yeah.
That they just went like, shit, now we gotta roll this one back a little bit, and then they just went too hard with it. Because like that scene where Joaquin Phoenix does shoot Robert De Niro in the face on like
That was
TV,
wild.
like it's a great scene, but it's like it is a heavy thing to
It's
watch.
the
and-
toned down version of what he does in the animated.
Didn't they have to do
Yeah.
trigger warnings when that first came out, if I'm remembering correctly, because of that scene? Didn't they have to like release a statement?
I mean,
'cause
if
there's some,
that's
like,
true,
public
then does
tragedy?
John Wick issue like the ultimate trigger warning?
Yeah,
He does
right.
nothing but shoot people in the head.
No, there was a bunch of articles written about it because it's not that John Wick was an action star shooting people in the head. It's the fact that this guy became so depraved that he went on national television and did something like this.
I think the only problem I really had with the first movie was that last scene, not the shooting part. It was the fact that Joaquin Phoenix was like explaining, oh, when you do this to a person with mental illness, I'm like, in the audience, I understood that you didn't have to tell me that part, buddy.
Show don't tell.
Yeah.
It says Joker Folie Deux is not a bad film, but not a great adaptation or sequel to the masterpiece of the first. The music was great, but the pacing really hurt the film. Overall, it's an interesting watch with great music, but the film itself isn't the best, but not so bad.
This is what I brought up earlier in the show. It's going to be fascinating to see how this does compared to the Penguin, because you have two very different artistic directions they went in here.
This was my favorite. It says, to the loud-ass gays in the Toronto audience who kept yelling Oscar or yes whenever Lady Gaga would get on screen, I hope you have a miserable week.
Brian Bledsoe with a $20 super chat says, regardless of what Warner Bros. regardless of Warner Bros, Todd Phillips, or whoever, it's a musical. Not full-blown musical numbers, but 1-to-1 and half verses. It was boring. I couldn't take it seriously. I was just wondering when they'll start singing again. I think that's a common criticism of all musicals, that it takes you out of the movie.
Yeah, all musicals would be better if they weren't musicals.
But like, I enjoy Fiddler on the Roof,
Mary
as a thing,
Poppins.
or Mary Poppins, or anything from like it's Broadway. Like
Wicked.
There's a place for it.
There's a place for it. It's not in the Joker.
Here's one. He says, I thought Joker was quite bad, a bland musical, an uninspired story, a wasted Harley. Oh, he says, I'm sorry, Lee Quinn, and a very mediocre plot.
Her name was Lee?
As someone who loved the first one, they clearly had no clue what to do with the sequel.
This is them trying to like, hey, let's be nuanced and let's change it. But
I mean, there's at least some.
They're
Most of these critiques are fair. Like, they're not saying like it was just stupid, right? Put a woman in it, make it gay. Like,
Put
it's
a
not what they're
girl in
saying.
it.
Yeah. All right, so this one says, Joker Folie Do felt completely unnecessary. As much as I wanted to love this musical take, it turned out to be dull and disjointed. Lady Gaga shines as Lee Quinn, which might be worse than calling Oswald Cobblepot Ozcobb. Which
What?
yeah.
What?
They wouldn't name him Oswald Cobblepot in the Penguin, so he's Ozcobb.
Because it was
which
too
is,
goofy.
yeah, which just, that just goes to show that a lot of the for a long time, Hollywood has been embarrassed of superheroes, despite the fact that they pretty much prop up the box office every year.
Yeah.
I would rather them not do it than do this shit.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so at least that's understandable. You have a ridiculous name, so you shorten it. But if they change Harley Quinn's a pretty
Normal sounding name.
It was,
name.
yeah.
It says, turned out to be dull and disjointed. Lady Gaga shines as Lee Quinn, bringing a fresh perspective to the character, but even she fizzles out in the second half. Let's do a couple more here. This one says, Joker Folie Do was solid for what it was, but it's even clearer now. There was no reason for this movie to exist. They captured lightning in a bottle with the first film that this couldn't live up to. It wasn't a bad movie. It's just nothing close to the first, not by a long shot. I mean, I think that was probably going to be a pretty strong. You'd had to have made something really, really amazing to try and cover what was done in the first one, which really was lightning in a bottle. And again, $55 million was spent on the first movie. They spent $200 million on this one. It's tracking way lower. It's not going to make $1 billion.
If your budget starts running that high and it's not like,
I mean, they would have had to just
on-site
because
locations.
Joaquin Phoenix was never gonna. I mean, he's gonna make a. Bank
yeah.
Sure, but
coming back.
if you're a studio and you start seeing the budget run that high, you should start to worry.
Well,
Nerdrotic says, if you're wondering if Joker needed a sequel, it didn't.
yeah.
And then I had one more here. Quarter Black Garrett says, rewatched the Batman both Penguin episodes after watching Joker 2. The Batman universe is 1,000% better than whatever the F the Joker movies tried to do.
They ruined any potential, because even if this is a moderate success, right? You now have to build off the fact that musical is canon. Like, there's people singing in your movies.
Oh, yeah, they
It's
just
canon
dug
now.
themselves a
So
grave.
it's like, how, if you were hoping for a Joker universe, a dark underworld of Gotham universe, you blew it.
Like I was. Yeah.
I'd rather you'd be better off letting Matt Reeves do that with like villains.
And again,
stuff
this
in
is
them.
why I hate. And
But
the
I
chat,
didn't like. But again, I'm like, I don't want 3-hour Batman movies.
The chat hates when I say this, but this is why I always will choose Marvel over DC, because they can't get their shit together.
And
DC doesn't
I mean,
know if they're
I
coming
wouldn't
or going.
exactly call Marvel having their shit
But
together.
it's way
DC
better, way better.
No.
But-
I don't think either of them are high achieving right now.
But-
But Deadpool and Wolverine does not undo all the slop.
No, but that was like one, like you could, and they're trying to come back from it. But Marvel was wildly successful for 10 plus years, or for 10 years at least, and then they blew it for like
Endgame
4
was-
years.
Yeah,
but
Endgame was 2019.
Yeah, but
That's-
like we can't like gloss over the fact that they created the new superhero renaissance. Like there wasn't superhero movies before Marvel started doing shit. Like there were, but there were very few and far between.
I mean,
like
there were.
well,
They weren't connected universes. In that
No,
sense.
no, what I'm saying is like you'd get, a Hulk movie in 2003 or like a Wonder Woman in the 80s, like things like that, or like the most that you'd have was like a Spider-Man animated series. But to go off like all full...
I mean, you still got Spider-Man trilogy before the MCU.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
And you got Batman.
But it wasn't
in
that
many different.
But it wasn't
iterations.
that far before it. That's the thing. Like they knew the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
understand.
so someone said I hate Marvel and DC. I'll agree with that one. Watchmen is the superior universe. for
Watchmen
both
is
series.
DC though,
Never
isn't
seen
it?
it.
Is it DC?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
But it's
But it's not
Alan
part of the same.
Moore,
Again, it's not. It's
right?
not part of the same. It's
not
the
like
same-
Justice League.
It was before that. It was well before that by a decade.
Yeah,
So.
it's its own thing.
Yeah, and also DC shined better when they were making animated movies, which were always far superior to anything that Marvel has done.
I'll give you that.
And
Definitely.
Marvel can't claim that they're doing better until that they have 2 hit movies in a row. But until then, like there was this really funny
Does DC
thing.
have 2 hit movies in a row?
There was a really, but we're not claiming that they're superior.
No, but you
We're saying
can't.
that-
How are you going to put that criticism on Marvel when DC hasn't able to do it themselves?
I wasn't saying DC's doing it well. I said Marvel's not doing it well either. Is
Okay,
what I'm
I
saying.
guess.
I'm saying that none of them are doing good work right now.
Yeah, no, I
I
agree
mean,
with that.
yeah.
I mean, Morbius.
But and again, and then that's the other thing. Like out of all the movies, like I'm not looking forward to Kraven the Hunter, but I am looking forward to Venom: The Last Dance.
Ooh, yeah.
I enjoyed both.
Maybe it's
of-
going to be a musical.
I enjoyed the first Venom movie a lot. I did not like the second one nearly as much as I liked the first one, but the trailers for the second one look fine. Now, I actually get more laughter out of Sony Marvel movies because Morbius and Madam Web make me laugh, but that's not what they're trying to do. They're not trying to make me laugh. That's the
Morbid
problem.
time.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.